Shut the up. I don't give a dude. Look at this. Look at this. He's fighting a professional boxer. Jake Paul's dead. He's dead. He's not going to make it.
So Joe Rogan terminated Jake Paul after Jake had pulled the plug on his upcoming fight with Mike Tyson. Yep, you heard that right. The highly anticipated clash of the eras is once again going up in smoke, thanks to Jake. And of course, Jake being Jake, he's still out here walking around like he's the king of the world, acting like canceling fights at his convenience is no big deal. Seriously, the guy pulls out of the biggest fight of his career like it's just another day in the office. But this time? Nah, Joe Rogan's had enough. Canceling on a legend like Mike Tyson? That's something Joe's just not gonna let slide. You know, Joe doesn't mess around when it comes to respecting the sport and its icons, and Jake just crossed a line he can't uncross. Rogan released an absolute verbal smackdown on Paul, and man, he's not holding back. Joe's like, look, you can be an influencer, you can be a YouTuber, whatever, but when you step into the ring with a legend, you better respect the game. And guess what? Jake's out here looking like the biggest villain in the fight game right now. And so the hype for Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson was reaching fever pitch. Like, we're talking one of the biggest fights in combat sports history, especially after that heated press conference on August 18th, 2024 in New York City. If you missed it, you missed some serious fireworks. Mike was out here looking like he was ready to eat Jake alive. And Jake? Well, he was doing what he does best, talking smack and hyping himself up like he was untouchable. The tension was through the roof. Fans were going crazy. Tickets were selling out faster than concert seats, and everyone was placing their bets. People were picking sides. The whole fight world was buzzing. And then Jake just dropped a freaking bombshell on us. The fight is off. All that hype, all the talk, all the build-up, and Jake just pulls the plug? Looks like our guy got a case of the pre-fight jitters. I mean, who wouldn't? We're talking about stepping into the ring with Mike Tyson, the man who literally chewed off a dude's ear before. That's not your average Sunday workout. The psychological toll of facing Tyson, knowing he's got decades of destruction behind him, can shake anyone up, even Jake Paul. But here's the thing, the fight world did not take this one lightly. Fans are feeling majorly let down, and you know Joe Rogan wasn't about to let this slide without saying something. Joe's been calling Jake out for acting like he's the one making the rules. Rogan's like, hold up, you can't just cancel on a legend like Mike Tyson and act like it's no big deal. Joe knows how big this fight was for the sport and for the fans, and the fact that Jake pulled out has everyone questioning what's really going on. Was he scared? Was he not ready? Whatever the case, Joe's not holding back, and he's putting Jake on blast for letting everyone down. And honestly, can you blame him? It was just a matter of Mike Tyson closing the distance. This Mike Tyson, as fast as he was, as hard as he hits, I maintain he's the greatest. Yeah, I mean the greatest heavyweight ever.
Just a matter of Mike Tyson closing the distance. This Mike Tyson, as fast as he was, as hard as he hits, I maintain he's the greatest.
Yeah.
The greatest heavyweight ever.
Now, if you're not familiar with Joe Rogan's bond with Tyson, let me break it down for you real quick. Joe is basically Tyson's #1 fan. It's like he's the president of the unofficial Mike Tyson fan club. Every time Joe brings up Tyson on his podcast, you can see the admiration all over his face. We're talking about a guy who's been in combat sports for decades, who's seen it all, and he still treats Mike like a living legend. Because, well, he is one. Honestly, Joe probably has a picture of Mike Tyson on his wall at home. So when Jake Paul, the internet sensation, the self-proclaimed problem child, pulls the plug on the fight of a lifetime with Tyson, Joe is not having it.
Obviously, devastating news. I'm heartbroken, speechless, gutted. We've been working so hard over here, everyone in this camp, and I just feel bad for everyone involved in this event.
Mike Tyson is an absolute machine, guys. And let's not forget, even at 58, Mike Tyson was gearing up for this fight, like a rookie ready for his debut. Seriously, the man was training like there was no tomorrow. He's been hitting the gym hard, putting in that work. We're talking about explosive combos, lightning-fast footwork, and that signature Tyson head movement. The man still has it. The power, the precision, everything. His jab, still as sharp as ever. His hooks, brutal. And that famous uppercut? You know it's a fight ender if it connects. Tyson might be pushing 60, but trust me, his punching power hasn't aged a day. His speed and strength would still give any boxer nightmares. His work on the heavy bag? Straight up terrifying. Jake might have thought he was stepping into the ring with an old man, but Mike was out here training like it was 1986 all over again. And Joe Rogan knows this better than anyone. If that Mike Tyson from Marvis Frazier fought Jake Paul's dead. He's dead. He's not going to make it.
Mike Tyson from Marvis Frazier fought Jake Paul. Jake Paul's dead. He's dead. He's not going to make it.
For years, Rogan's been hyping up Tyson as one of the scariest fighters in history. I mean, there was a point when people would literally be terrified to step in the ring with Mike, and that aura hasn't faded. So when Jake cancels, it's like he's tarnishing the legacy of a man who revolutionized heavyweight boxing. And trust me, Joe Rogan's not going to let that disrespect go unchecked. On his podcast, Joe finally spoke out, and let me tell you, it was savage. He basically called Jake out for not being a true fighter, for not having the heart that legends like Mike Tyson have. Joe said that when you sign up to fight, especially against someone like Tyson, you need to show respect and be all in. No second guessing, no cancellations. Just pure dedication to the sport.
Harry Holmes, I think that Mike Tyson is the best heavyweight of all time. I don't think anybody fucks with him.
Mike Tyson's the best heavyweight of all time. I don't think anyone fucks with him. And that's the thing about Joe Rogan. When he speaks, the entire combat sports world listens. He's more than just a podcast host. He's the voice of combat sports. This man has been calling UFC fights for years, breaking down some of the craziest moments in fighting history. So when Joe says you're messing up in the fight game, you better believe he's right. Rogan's got a huge following in the fighting community. Whether it's MMA, boxing, or even just straight-up martial arts, Joe's opinion matters. He's trained with some of the best. He's got black belts in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Taekwondo, and he's been in the fight game long enough to know what separates a true fighter from someone just looking for clout.
Breaths of Silva, this is what you expect. Silva knocked down by Paul!
And right now, Joe's seeing Jake Paul as more of a clout chaser than a real fighter. Sure, Jake's made waves in the boxing scene, but canceling on a fight with Mike Tyson? That's just not something you do if you want to be taken seriously. Joe made it clear. If Jake wants to be a legitimate boxer, he's got to stop dodging real challenges. Joe didn't hold back. He was like, Jake, if you're serious about boxing, you fight Mike Tyson. No questions, no excuses. You don't back out when things get tough. And honestly, he's got a point. Mike's ready, Mike's hungry, and even though he's older, he's still a force to be reckoned with. But Jake dipped out before the fight could even happen. When you get challenged by someone who's a guy like Jake Paul, does that piss you off? Is part of it just like...
Who get challenged by someone who's a guy like a Jake Paul? Does that piss you off? Is it part of it that...
And for Joe, who's basically seen and done it all in the fight world, this was a huge letdown. He's a guy who respects the grind, who respects the sport, and who respects legends like Tyson. So when Jake cancels, it's not just a business decision, it's a slap in the face to the entire fight community. Joe's got mad respect for fighters who take risks. We're talking about guys like Israel Adesanya, John Jones, Kamaru Usman, people who never back down from a challenge. And to him, Jake bailing on this fight is a sign that maybe, just maybe, Jake isn't cut from that same cloth. Plus, let's not forget, Mike Tyson isn't just any opponent. He's one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. And Jake had the chance to step into the ring with a legend. A fight with Tyson could have elevated Jake's career to new heights. But instead, Jake canceled, leaving Joe Rogan, and basically the entire combat sports world asking, what's next? Jake's built his brand on being the problem child, but let's be real. If you want to be respected in the boxing world, you've got to fight the fights that matter. And this fight? It mattered. Mike Tyson is a name that holds weight in every corner of the sports world, and canceling on him? That's a problem even Jake can't escape. Joe made it clear. Jake's move to cancel on Tyson was a massive mistake. Joe's always been about well, I guess we'll have to wait and see how everything plays out. So, there you go, fight world, that's all I have for you today. What are your thoughts on Jake Paul getting terminated by Joe Rogan? Fill in the comment section with your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more boxing news. See you in the next video.